The storm came without warning. Rain slammed the earth like angry fists, turning the ground to mush and drowning out all other sounds. My cabin, tucked away at the edge of the forest, shook with each gust of wind. I had just settled into bed, wrapped in a warm blanket, when a soft knock tapped against my front door. At first I thought I imagined it. Who would be out in a storm like this? Then I heard it again. A slow, hesitant knock. Like someone was scared to knock harder. I pulled on my coat and opened the door. There she stood, drenched from head to toe, trembling in the cold. Her skin glowed faintly lavender under the porch light. Two soft antennae peeked from her wet, silver hair. Her eyes, wide and shimmering, held a mix of fear and something else. Hope, maybe. "Please," she whispered, her voice barely louder than the wind. "Can I sleep next to you, human? I'm scared of being alone." I blinked, unsure if I was dreaming. I'd seen aliens before. Many had come to Earth after the treaties were signed, but I'd never had one show up at my doorstep, asking to sleep beside me. She looked ready to collapse. Without thinking, I stepped aside. "Come in." She walked, in slowly, barefoot, her clothes soaked and clinging to her slender frame. I handed her a towel, which she clutched tightly as if afraid it might vanish. "My name is Tyler," she said softly, drying her hands. "I got lost after the shuttle left. I don't know where my group went." I nodded, still trying to process everything. "I'm Riven," I said. "You're safe here." Her shoulders sagged with relief. She glanced around the small cabin, eyes lingering on the fireplace. "Is it okay if I sit close to the fire?" "Of course," I said, already moving to stoke the flames higher. She knelt near the warmth, sighing deeply. The soft glow danced on her skin, making her look almost magical. I tried not to stare, but it was hard not to. "How did you end up alone?" I asked gently. Tyler hugged the towel close. "We were exploring. I followed some lights. Curious things your world has. Fireflies, you call them. When I turned around, everyone was gone." She sounded ashamed, like getting lost was some unforgivable crime. "I used to chase fireflies as a kid," I said with a chuckle. "Got lost in the woods once too. You're not the first." Her lips curved into a small smile. "You're kind, Riven." Something about the way she said my name made my chest feel warm. I shook the feeling off. "Are you hungry?" I asked. "I have soup." Her eyes lit up. "Please." I warmed up a pot of vegetable stew while she watched, curious about everything. The kettle, the spoon, the bubbles rising in the pot. Like the world itself was new to her. She ate with quiet delight, savoring each bite. When the storm grew louder and the thunder cracked like an angry sky god, she flinched. "You really don't like being alone?" I asked, noticing the way her hands trembled. "In my culture," she said softly, "we're never alone at night. We sleep in circles, surrounded by family. Silence and darkness. They make us feel lost." I nodded, understanding a little better now. "You can stay here tonight," I said. "There's a spare blanket and the couch is—" She stood, eyes wide again. But this time it wasn't fear. It was need. "Please, beside you. I won't touch. I don't want to feel the emptiness." My heart thudded. There was something fragile in her voice, something so sincere I couldn't say no. "Okay," I said after a pause. "Just until the storm passes." She gave a soft sigh, then a smile that could melt the coldest night as I laid out the bedding. She gently touched the pillow, almost like it was a rare treasure. She climbed in beside me, leaving space just like she said. But I could feel her warmth close to mine, feel the slight shake in her breath. I turned out the light. The storm still howled, But inside the small cabin it was quiet, almost peaceful. "Thank you, Riven," she whispered in the dark. "You make me feel safe." I didn't answer right away. Something in her voice wrapped around my heart like a soft thread, pulling it closer. "Good night, Tyler," I whispered back. And for the first time in a long while, I didn't feel alone either. I woke to the soft sound of breathing. Warmth lingered beside me, gentle, not heavy. Tyler lay curled under the blanket, her silver hair fanned across the pillow, catching the faint morning light like threads of moonlight. Her antennae twitched, slightly, reacting to some dream I couldn't see. She looked peaceful now, her usual anxious expression gone. I turned away, trying not to stare. I didn't want to disturb her. Instead, I got up and made coffee. The scent filled the cabin, rich and comforting. Outside, the rain had faded to a drizzle, and mist rolled through the trees like slow-moving spirits. I heard the blanket shift. "What is that smell?" she asked sleepily. "Coffee?" I said, pouring her a cup with extra sugar. "Bit bitter. You might not like it." She sat up slowly, rubbing her eyes, then reached for the mug with both hands. Her fingers brushed mine, just a moment, but it was enough to stir something in my chest. She took a sip and winced. "It's like drinking fire bark, but strangely good." I laughed. That's one way to describe it. Tyler looked around the cabin. "It's quiet here," she said, "but it doesn't feel lonely, not like before." I leaned against the counter. "Some people come here to be alone. I did once, thought I wanted silence. Turns out I just didn't know how to ask for company." She glanced down, then nodded. I understand that too well. I noticed her clothes were still damp from the night before. "I've got some old shirts. Maybe you could borrow one. Should be warmer." Her cheeks flushed violet. "Are they your clothes?" "Yeah," I said, amused. "Don't worry, I won't charge rent for a shirt." She bit her lip, then gave a small smile. "Thank you, Riven." Again. While she changed in the bathroom, I stepped outside for a moment. The world smelled clean, washed. Birds were just starting to chirp, and somewhere in the distance I thought I heard another shuttle. Maybe her group was out searching for her. When I came back in, Tyler was wearing one of my shirts. It hung off her shoulders loosely, the sleeves too long, but she looked beautiful, soft, almost too real. "Do I look silly?" she asked, tugging at the hem. "No," I said, too fast, then tried to cover it. "I mean, it suits you." Her eyes sparkled. "In my world, when someone says that, it means you're part of their home." I blinked. Well, maybe Earth customs are catching up. She stepped closer, glancing out the window. "Do you think they'll come back for me?" "Maybe, but it might take a while." "Your comm still not working?" She held it up, frowning. "Still static," I sighed. "You can stay as long as you need." Tyler looked at me. Really looked. Her gaze was deep, searching, like she was studying something hidden inside me. "You're strange, Riven. Most humans I've met. They look at me with curiosity, or fear, or something worse." "But you—" She stopped, biting her lip again. "I what?" "You see me?" she whispered. The air felt still after that, like the whole room was listening. I wasn't sure what to say, so I just nodded. That afternoon, we walked outside for a bit. The ground was muddy, but the forest was beautiful, alive with dripping leaves and sunbeams piercing through branches. Tyler reached out and caught a raindrop on her finger, watching it slide down. "Your world is gentle in strange ways," she said. "It's not like mine. Ours is red and sharp and loud. Nothing here wants to hurt me." I chuckled. "Well, except maybe mosquitoes." She raised an eyebrow. "What is that?" "Little flying blood thieves," You'll meet one eventually, she laughed. It was the first time I truly heard it, a light, melodic sound that warmed me from the inside. That night, as darkness crept in again, Tyla seemed quieter. She sat on the couch, hugging her knees. I made dinner, simple grilled bread and stew. But she only picked at it. Something wrong? I asked. I keep thinking about them, she murmured. My group. What if they think I'm dead? What if they already left the planet? I sat beside her. They'll be looking. I'd bet anything on that. You're not someone people forget. Her eyes shimmered, tears gathering. I know it's silly, but I feel like I belong here, with you. Even though it's only been a day. It's not silly, I said gently. Some people spend years around others and feel nothing. Sometimes, it only takes one night. She looked at me with wide eyes, then leaned her head against my shoulder. You won't leave. Me alone tonight, right? She asked quietly. Never. The next morning brought sunlight. Soft beams filtered through the trees and painted gold across the wooden floor of the cabin. I woke with Tyla already beside me, curled slightly inward, one hand resting near mine. She must have drifted closer during the night. Her expression was calm, like all her fears had been hushed in sleep. I didn't move, just watched her for a while. The way her chest rose and fell, the delicate shimmer in her skin when the light touched it. She wasn't like anyone I had ever met, alien, yes, but in the most gentle and human way. Eventually her eyes blinked open. She met my gaze without surprise, like she'd known I'd be looking. Good morning, Riven. Morning, I replied softly. Did you sleep okay? She nodded. I didn't dream of cold places this time, only warmth. That simple line stuck with me all day. We shared breakfast, eggs, toast, and something. She insisted on trying again. Coffee. She still winced with each sip, but didn't stop drinking it. I wasn't sure if she actually liked it or just liked the idea of sharing it with me. Afterward, we worked together to clean the cabin. She was fascinated by simple things, how soap bubbled, how the broom worked, even how the vacuum roared to life like a little beast. You live here all alone? She asked as she folded the laundry I handed her. Yeah, for a long time now. Why? I hesitated. Too many things in the city, too much noise, too many people pretending. Out here, it's just me. Easier that way. She tilted her head. But don't you feel cold at night? Not in body, but inside? Her question surprised me. I'd never thought of it like that. Sometimes, I admitted. Until 2 nights ago. Her cheeks darkened with a violet blush, and she quickly turned away. Later in the day, we walked to the river behind the cabin. The water was clear, moving, slowly. Birds hopped between branches, and a family of deer crossed in the distance. Tyla knelt by the bank and dipped her fingers in the cool water, her antennae twitching slightly. It's so quiet here, she said again. But not the kind of quiet that feels like being forgotten. It's like the world is listening. I sat beside her, skipping a stone across the surface. That's exactly why I stayed. She didn't speak for a moment. Then, if I hadn't gotten lost, I never would have met you. And if I hadn't opened the door, I added, you'd be out there alone. She turned to face me. Her eyes were large and bright, reflecting the sky. Do you believe in fate? She asked. I don't know, I said honestly. But I believe in moments, and this one feels right. Tyla reached out slowly. Her fingers brushed against mine, hesitant at first. I didn't pull away. Neither of us said anything. The wind picked up slightly, rustling the trees. Somewhere, a bird sang a long, slow note, as if joining in the stillness between us. When we walked back, she stayed close. Not out of fear anymore, but comfort. As we entered the cabin, I could feel something new in the air. Not tension exactly. More like a question waiting to be answered. That evening, we sat by the fireplace again. She had found an old blanket, fluffy and oversized, and wrapped it around herself like a cocoon. I sat beside her with a book, reading while she watched the fire. She didn't ask for noise. She didn't need to fill the space. She simply existed there with me. "I want to tell you something," she said suddenly, voice soft and low. I closed the book. "Anything?" "I've never slept beside someone like this before. Not by choice. On my world, closeness is often arranged. Shared warmth is expected, but never personal." She looked down, fingers tightening around the edge of the blanket. "But with you, I chose it. I asked. I wanted to be near you." Her words made my chest ache in the best way, not like pain, but like a full heart pressing against the walls. "I'm glad you asked, Tyler." She leaned closer then, her shoulder brushing mine. "Will you hold my hand tonight? Just for a while?" I reached out, gently wrapping my fingers around hers. Her skin was soft and cool, like moonlight and water. She sighed, resting her head against my arm. And in that moment, everything else faded. The storm, the fear, the loneliness. There was only the fire, the blanket, our hands, and the silence we shared together. Not as strangers, but something slowly becoming more. The days began to blend. Tyler stayed, and I didn't count how many mornings passed. The rhythm of our lives grew soft and shared. She began helping in the garden, even if she couldn't tell weeds from vegetables at first. I'd find her humming strange tunes while watering the plants, her antennae swaying gently with the breeze. Every night she curled beside me under the same blanket. Sometimes she'd talk, quiet, gentle words about her world, her people, and how she had always felt. Like she didn't fit in. "I was never strong like the others," she said one evening, curled close. "They train for war, pride themselves on silence and hard choices. I was always the one who asked why. Why must we be cold? Why is kindness called weakness?" She looked at me then, her eyes deep with something unspoken. "You make me feel..." Like asking why was never wrong. I didn't say anything. I just reached for her hand. She squeezed it back. One afternoon, while we were sitting on the porch watching a storm build in the distance, her communicator finally crackled to life. Voice came through, broken but clear enough. Her name, a code, a question. "Are you alive?" She froze. The smile on her face faded like melting snow. She answered with shaking fingers, her voice formal and clipped. "Tyler reporting, injured but safe, location marked." When the call ended, she sat still for a long time. "They'll come tomorrow," she said softly. I felt the wind change, not just from the storm, but between us. She didn't meet my eyes. She just looked out at the trees, the place she had made into a kind of temporary home. "They'll take me back," she said. "I'll have to explain where I've been, answer questions. They'll want to scan my memories." I didn't know what to say. I wanted to tell her not to go, that she could stay. But it wasn't my place to choose for her. Instead, I asked, "Do you want to go back?" She was quiet for a while. Then, "I'm afraid that if I leave, this feeling, this softness I found here, it will vanish, like a dream I can't prove was real." She stood, walking down the steps into the yard. I followed. Raindrops started to fall, light and scattered, but she didn't care. She lifted her face toward the sky. "I've always been afraid of being alone," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But now, I'm scared of something else." "What?" "I'm scared of forgetting what it felt like. To be with you. I stepped closer. You won't forget. How can you be sure? Because I won't let you. She turned to me, wet hair clinging to her cheeks. Her lips parted slightly, as if caught between words and breath. Riven, she whispered, will you kiss me? It was a question so full of fear and hope, it made my heart ache. I stepped forward slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. Our lips met in the rain, soft, unsure at first, then fuller. Her hands found my chest, my arms wrapped around her.
She felt real and trembling in my grasp, like something rare and fragile. When we pulled apart, her forehead rested against mine. I don't want this to end, she breathed. Then don't let it. But if they take me, I cupped her.
Face gently. Tell them you found something. Someone. Something worth staying for. She shook her head, smiled, trembling. They won't understand. Then come back, I whispered. Even if they take you, come back to me. Tears mixed with rain as she nodded. Promise me you'll wait. I promise. That night, we didn't sleep much. We held each other like we were afraid of time, of morning, of change. When dawn came, we stood outside together, hand in hand, watching as a sleek silver ship sliced through the clouds above the trees. The forest, our hiding place, held its breath. Tyler looked up, then at me. Her fingers clutched mine tighter. I'll come back, she said, no matter what it takes. I smiled, even as my chest felt hollow. I'll be here. As the ship descended and its doors opened, she stepped forward, paused, and ran back. To me for one last kiss. Fierce, needing. I was never afraid of the dark, she whispered. I was afraid of never finding light. But you are my light, Riven. And then she was gone. The ship lifted, and I was left beneath the trees, with nothing but the soft echo of her warmth still lingering in my arms. Weeks passed, then a month. The cabin felt different without her. I still kept the blanket folded on the couch, her favorite cup on the table. I kept the bed made the same way, half empty, waiting. Sometimes I would wake up reaching for her hand, only to find cool sheets. I still went to the river, still planted seeds in the garden like she used to, humming the little songs she'd made up. The trees whispered like they remembered her, too. Some nights, I'd sit by the fire and think about her words. You are my light. Strange how someone who came from the stars could say that to someone like me. One evening, while the sky burned gold and orange, I heard a sound I hadn't heard since she left. A low hum, smooth, familiar. I stepped out onto the porch. My heart stopped. A ship, but not the same one that took her. This one was smaller, sleeker, almost shy in how it landed, as if trying not to disturb the trees. The door hissed open. She stepped out. Tyler. No armor, no mask. Just her, hair loose, eyes searching, and that uncertain little smile I'd come to know better than my own reflection. She looked scared. I ran to her. She dropped everything and ran too. We met in the middle of the clearing, arms crashing around each other like waves. I didn't say anything, neither did she. We just held on. When we finally pulled back, her fingers touched my cheek. They didn't understand, she said, breathless. They wanted me to forget. They even tried to make me believe it was just survival instinct, that my feelings weren't real. I brushed her hair back, looking into those silver blue eyes. But you remembered. I remembered you, she whispered. Every warmth, every quiet moment. The way you looked at me. Without fear, I told them. If I couldn't come back, then I wouldn't stay at all. You chose me, I chose us. She leaned in and kissed me again, slow and deep, like she needed to taste the air here again, like she needed me to remind her she was home. When we finally went inside, she paused at the door. "I never asked," she said, glancing back. "But can I stay forever?" I smiled and held out my hand. "Only if you promise to keep stealing all the blankets." She laughed. Soft, musical, the sound I hadn't realized I missed so much. "Deal." That night, she slept next to me again. No fear, no sadness, only peace. Her head rested on my chest, her breath steady. And just before she drifted off, she murmured into my skin, "I'm not scared anymore, Riven. Not as long as you're here." I kissed the top of her head and held her close. Because love, true love, wasn't just about passion or promises. It was about presence, about staying when the world told you to leave, about choosing to come back, no matter how far you've gone. And in that quiet cabin under the whispering trees with her heartbeat against mine, she was no longer a lonely alien girl. She was home, and so was I.